1-1 though, and it looks like Naniwa is trying to play very patiently. There's the ground weapons level 2 finally getting started, and it looks like a couple more Banelings getting morphed by Moon, but he hasn't done any harassment at all. How's his tech? Well, he is getting extra macro hatcheries, but has not yet opted to get a hive, is just now getting this corruptor, and is taking himself a 5th base.
Yeah, I mean, the upgrades of the Protoss is definitely something that Moon is probably going to have to worry about. We are going to see an attack and a cancellation here by Moon, but already we see Naniwa's army at 1-1 with +2 weapons on the way. Blink as well. I was wondering where the Corruptors are, but it looks like we've got 8 on the way, and so now we'll have the combination of not only dropping the Banes, but the Corruptors to deal with the Colossi, especially in case more force fields do come out. Now, looking at the unit counting station, there's only 2 sentries for Naniwa, so he's not going to be able to have the same concentration of force fields that he had in the last matchup. But that, of course, assumes that Moon is going to go in for another push here.
And we see 3 more gateways getting thrown down by Naniwa. Oh no, Naniwa is going to establish himself a 4th base. He's trying to secure it by constantly putting pressure here on the left, and it looks like Moon is going to make another push attempt. But look at this, Naniwa is now maxed himself, and it looks like a single roach is going to catch all of these probes moving on in. Surprise, surprise, now he's even walled off his poor little probies. Naniwa does only have 1 pylon powering everything here, but will it be enough? Here comes the big push by Moon.
And there we go, the Overlords are going to move in. Banelings are starting to fall. He has to go back. One of the Colossus has already fallen down, but there are quite a few Colossus here. In fact, we have got like 6 Colossus on the field, and it is going to be a quick retreat by Moon. I don't know that he did as much damage with his Banelings as he did last time. And remember, if you're not killing the Stalkers, or at least doing whole damage, you're not really doing damage at all. They can regenerate those fields, so he knows about this 3rd base. I wonder if Moon might try some sort of back assault. In fact, Naniwa might think that that is a possibility too. Putting down already a pylon, maybe even expand right there, while Moon is trying to get his 5th base up.
Now, at this point in the game, we see that Naniwa is now maxed. He has 6 Colossi on the field, 21 Stalkers, a huge number of Zealots, and is just now about to get that 7th Colossus. Naniwa is showing that if you can force your opponent into making this big mid-game army, you can just wait and wait and wait until it hits late game, and suddenly that max Roach force is not good anymore. In fact, it even harms you that you can't make some of those more powerful food units, and it looks like Moon under a lot of trouble now that Naniwa is poking at this 5th base. Going to take it out with ease. Great force fields by Naniwa, trapping most of those roaches, but look at the Corruptor count already knocking down a lot of those Colossi. Only 3 remain. 2 remain, and they are going to fall so fast.
And look at this great decision by Moon. He is going to bring his roaches around the back. A force field goes down, but there is only 1. He does lose a few Corruptors, but I think the trade was well worth it. 6 of those Colossi do go down. We now see Immortals coming out to deal with those roaches and basically making those Corruptors ineffective. We also have Storm being researched, and +3 weapons is on the way. Moon is finally getting +1 weapons. He has +2 carapace. He's also getting +2 flyer attacks.
Interestingly, Moon opting now to get a lot of Hydralisks. A very interesting choice given the fact that there's a lot of Colossi constantly popping out on the field for Naniwa. Does have a little bit of a window of opportunity. Now that those Colossi are gone, Moon's going to take that advantage, push against this 3rd base from Naniwa, but is not going for the 4th or 5th. There the Colossi are coming in. He does manage to take it out, but here comes that Blink Stalker micro from Naniwa. Amazing Corruptor count, managing to eliminate that Colossus very, very easily. So we're going to now see Moon pull back, make the retreat, and we do see that that hive is done, but never have you been cursed as much to get an upgrade than when your hive finishes wheat. Has to wait for that to go down. And will he have enough time to get that Greater Spire? Well, you know what is great news for Moon, given the fact that he has pushed this game on longer and longer and longer with just roaches and Banelings. Look at the gas count for Zerg. Rarely ever do you see a Zerg lucky enough to be with 3,000 gas at the 23-minute mark.
Well, I'm a little surprised there. We did see +3 flyer attacks come down momentarily for Moon. Is he not?
He canceled the Greater Spire?
Interesting.
I do not get that choice, but it looks like he's going to instead be opting for this Roach Hydra Baneling combination.
Yeah, and you know, it's a little, I can understand, hey, I took out a bunch of Colossus, maybe he's going to stop the production, I have the Corruptors to deal with them. However, now that we've got High Templars in the mix, it seems like they're going to be just as squishy. It does look like we have a possible attack. The Banelings are loaded up into several of those Overlords. They're going to start dropping. They want to get right on top of that army. The force fields begin to come out. And he's going to snipe up one of the Overlords, two of the Overlords, three of them, and the fourth one goes down, minimizing that damage completely.
Doing an extraordinary job of crushing that army, picking off those Corruptors. Now, if Moon wanted to get that Greater Spire, he would have an even harder time beginning to get any of those Broodlords. Moon seems to be in a very awkward position. He has himself 70 drones. He's burrowing to increase the heal rate on those Roaches, but where do you go from here as Moon? We see there is that ground armor level 2 getting chrono boosted by Naniwa, and look at the insane amount of gateways he has. He has 16 gateways. It's a lot. Oh, no, wait, excuse me. He has 19 gateways. Either way, that's a lot of production capacity. Now darting up here to take out the 5th base of Moon for a 3rd time this game, and it is a completely uncontested fight.
Well, here he comes. Immortals are in the front. There are not too many force fields. We are going to see a few more Overlords go down. And remember, those High Templar are in the back. They'll be very deadly. Oh, huge storm right in the middle. Look at all the red units that came out of that. And he is morphing in more Banelings. But this army is really, really close here to the front. And there's some more Great Swords.
Banelings roll into some huge hits. Moon does not retreat, takes some huge damage with those storms, and there's the blink forward. 28 Roaches en route right now. A lot of Zerglings swarming in. Oh no, Naniwa, who was trying to be slow and steady, now getting overrun. Those 28 Roaches almost complete. Moon looks like he is about to lose this, but when all those Roaches pop out, Naniwa is going to be the one in the full-out retreat, and it looks like Moon manages to crush this force of Naniwa.
Wow, I mean, the reinforcements played a huge part in there. They were going to see another Immortal go down, and he's going to chase out that Archon as well. There's a couple of Colossus over here as well, and they're going to get chased down. We do have a huge, huge army coming back to try to stop this. That should be able to stop this from Moon, but some damage was done.
A storm gets thrown down, doesn't really do too much damage, but we're seeing that every time Naniwa makes a push, he gets another base and another base. Naniwa now having more expansions than Zerg, an extremely unusual spot in a ZVP. We're seeing a wildly different style in these games than we did in Idra versus MC, and again, Moon trying to make Banelings, trying to rely on this mid-game unit mix of Roaches, Hydras, Banelings. But will it be enough? Naniwa continuing to replenish an amazing mix of units. It's hard no matter what Zerg makes at this point, given the amount of economy that the Protoss does have.
Yeah, and you pointed out the gas earlier. He is currently up to 4,300 gas. Right now, Moon is at a huge supply disadvantage. 134 to his opponents is max. And, you know, these Banelings obviously becoming much less effective. There we see yet another attack at the 3rd, and he is not going to let him get up. And he's at a point now where actually fighting in that choke is beneficial to him. He can move his Colossus up onto the high ground here, but he may just go in for a kill.
And it looks like with Immortals, Colossi, Templar Stalkers, the Banelings are going to try to get dropped in. Everything rests on if these Banelings get some good damage, and wow, that is the kind of damage that Moon's been looking for all game long, but Naniwa has had an increasing unit count for too long, and it looks like Moon is almost out of options, and there's the good game.
GG.
Naniwa takes a win in set 1.
Yeah, Moon had some great pushes there. I really feel like between the upgrades and just, you know, overall the control from Naniwa got him the victory. Kind of figured Moon out there after that 2nd and 3rd drop started coming in, focus firing down those Overlords, really paying close attention, keeping his army out of reach of the Roach's damage as well. I mean, when you lose 16 Banelings like that just so fast, and you know, unfortunately now questionable about the upgrades too, and not going for that Greater Spire.
That was very, very weird for me, because, you know, the Blink Stalker Templar Archon mix is so incredibly powerful against Broodlords that perhaps you could argue that that was the reason to steer away, but you know what? Archon, Stalker, Templars good against any unit mix, and I mean,
Right.
Brood Lords are pretty much good no matter what, as long as you have enough backup from ground with those Roaches or Zerglings or Banelings. Any backup with a Greater Spire is going to put you in a good position. So kind of questionable the fact that Moon stayed so long with just Roaches and Banelings, but very, very smart timing by Naniwa throughout the game, just moving forward and moving back, and moving forward and moving back.